She's back, folks. I'm doing this audio live as it happens. This has just been put on track, so I thought I'll have a bit of honesty about it. Luckily I didn't have to kick off or put any kind of protest up to get it repaired and get it back to me, did I? So hopefully that was just a fluke. Right then. That's a rate start. Rate start. What an idiot. Why won't I just check that it weren't coupled up first? Oh my god.
Crack!
Hey up, folks. I'm going to leave that in. What an idiot. I think because I'd lifted the train off, I'd basically moved coupling out of place. So let's have a look then. So far, so good. I missed it now. Sally, what's these new? Well, they're not new, are they? Old new wagons. What are they doing? We don't know they have stuff like that. Right, folks. Live chat's going. I just need to speak to Sally about these new wagons. That's a weird sound, isn't it? Oh, can you hear it? Can you hear that weird sound? Weird. See you in a bit. Hey folks, are you alright? Listen, it's going to be a bit of a different one. This is like a double bill. I'm going to do about half the video is going to be a running session with a little surprise, and then other half of the video is going to be talking about what's kept me busy for the last couple of weeks, and I have been busy. And I'm going to show you a full process of how I go about the 3D printing, basically, just in case you haven't got a clue, just to show it you. It's not going to go on too much, I'll just whip through it, but it'll give you a good idea, and it's worth the watch if you've got no better to do. Like, if you've got other things that are better to do, it's not worth the watch, but I'll give you an option, that's why it's... And look at state of this, that steam train, what's going on? He weren't hanging about, were he? Reversing off of that double slip that's got questionable electrical connectivity. But yeah, it's slowed down a bit now. Look, it's just, it's nice, isn't it, that? Nice and black. It's one of them fancy pants new Hornby Black 5s that everyone's been raving about. I'll be absolutely honest, last steam train I had were a Hornby Peppercorn Tornado when it was railroad range, and it were quite good. The only thing wrong with that train for me was it used to just set off randomly on its own, because I don't think the old Hornby decoders get on with Z21s. But this one, it's got one of them new TXS ones, and I've not had any issues with them, so whether they've cracked it, whatever it was, little gremlins or what, I don't know. But they've not cracked fixing that building yet. I've not had any structural engineers get in touch yet, you know, to get it sorted, that roof. But hopefully you'll be getting in touch soon, won't you? I tell you what, you know, they look alright in black, don't they? It reminds me a bit like a Back to the Future 3 train. What I might do was a bit of a favour to Hilton, whose train it is. I might super glue a load of wires onto it, you know, to make it look like that Back to the Future 3 train, and put some LEDs on it and stuff. And we can reenact Back to the Future 3, can't we, off at Viaduct, to make it fall down into the river. Like on film, it'll be brilliant, that. Basically, it's another transport job for Hilton. Hilton out. I thought if I do a video and then ask if I can do a video of it after the event, if you don't like it, or you say no, it's kind of then too late, isn't it? Whereas if I ask you beforehand, then it's probably a little bit like I might not be able to get this video out. It's not fair on people, is it? But yeah, so is it alright if I just use this new train of yours just to do a bit of a video, make sure it runs alright for you? Thanks a lot, pal. I mean, luckily enough, I'm doing it on your birthday, so I'll try and get it out as a birthday present to you so you can see your train running on Liberty Junction. Look at these old wagons. I ain't run these for a bit. I say old, but that first one's actually brand new. It was one of them freebies that came with that TMC Accurascale 37 special I bought of the week. It finally turned up. It only took 7 weeks. Yeah, it turned up, but basically the free wagon that I chose isn't the one that I got, because basically in 7 weeks that it took them to send it me, they sold out of the other one. So I ended up getting this brown one, but the other one I was getting was quite funky looking and I quite liked it, whereas that one's a bit mediocre. But it'll do for now. Look at this lovely shot of this bridge now. It looks well done, it. I put that little signal box at the back at the scene there. I think it finishes that little bit off nicely now. It might make 0 sense, but I don't care. I like it. Look, let's have another look. Look, it looks alright. Metcalf one. Wayne Atkinson special, that. It will go in it bin and I've rescued it for Liberty. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to run this Black 5 round, get some nice shots of it. I'm not going to go into intricate detail because it's not mine. I don't want to spoil it. Hilton likes to do all that stuff. So I'm going to run it past nice and fast like that and do some other bits and pieces. And look at him getting his little shot. He's back, isn't he? I didn't realise, but I tell you what he'd done the other day. I found him on the floor at Ravine. He'd fell off and his foot snapped off. And I must have caught him one day with my elbow. And basically, he went on the floor. He survived. He didn't speak for a few weeks. I think he were a bit like that when Tom Hanks were on the island and he started talking to that football. I think it one of them situations where he kind of lost it a little bit, but he's all right now. He thinks his camera's a person now, but it's all right. He'll be all right with a bit of counselling. I've offered him some Liberty counselling, but he don't want to pay £200 a 20-minute session. So, no, I'm not a charity case, so I can't do any more for him. But he's back taking his photos, so I've even allowed him wrong side of the fence, so he can't really complain. And he certainly can't sue us, can he? Because it says keep out, and he didn't, so it's not my fault. Hey, just on a side note, I know you like to, God, my God, I can't speak. You know you like it when I give you updates about things like Percy and what he gets up to and stuff. Well, he's been doing a bit of work this last couple of weeks at that, at Yorkshire Wildlife Park, because he's basically, what he can do is he can dress up he can do a full-on lion act. And he's been basically at lion enclosure for the last couple of weeks working as a lion. And he does that basically because we're a bit boring. Lions that were in there were a bit boring, so they wanted a bit more of an exciting one. And Percy can do an exciting lion act really well. I don't know if you've seen any films with that MGM Studios, and it's got like a lion at the beginning that roars. Well, that will Percy that. He basically dresses himself up as a lion with a bit of makeup, and he does that roar. And he does a good job, doesn't he? So yeah, for the next couple of weeks, if you want to get you sent at Wildlife Park and look at lions, one of them's Percy. I'm not going to tell you which because they won't even want me to tell you that information. So if you do, don't tell anyone, will you? Cheers, pal. Anyway, so we're going to focus on this and then we're going to focus on other stuff. What we're not going to focus on is my 66 that's running round top loop constantly. There's a bit of a tester. It seems so far, from the bit of running I've done on this video, it seems to be running absolutely fine. Smooth as butter, absolutely normal, sounds all normal, and everything's normal. It's just a shame it took forever to get back to me. After my little protest video last week, I left it a week and then I sent him another email because I'd still not heard out from that AI bot that said, we'll email you back, someone will be in touch. Well, I left it a full month. It were a full month and no one had been in touch. And I thought enough's enough now with this, so what I did is I sent him a real snotty. I was a bit angry. I basically let Percy smack me in the face a couple of times to get me raging, and then I emailed him and I basically highlighted how much I've spent with them, how much I've got on pre-order with them that's paid for, and that I'm about to cancel it all because it's getting ridiculous. And funnily enough, I got another AI reply. It was absolutely next level how much it sent my blood boiling. I think my head turned blue. Luckily, just before I was starting to do backflips, someone picked email up and emailed me back, and they said, oh, we've just checked with warranty team, and it actually got posted back to you yesterday. And I thought, oh, I didn't realise Pinocchio worked there, but interesting to know. How you doing, mate? Is your dad still all right? But he didn't answer me, but basically that's what they said. So I checked tracking number with Royal Mail, and it basically just said that we're waiting collection of your parcel. So clearly they were being a little bit cunning with the words, and they don't realise that when you give a tracking number you can press it and see where things are, and there were nothing there. And basically it arrived today, so it took 4 days from that email for it to arrive. So clearly a bit of a kicky-offy email, and potentially a video prior, gave me a bit of a kick-up arse to sort it. I'm not convinced not doing that wouldn't have sorted it, but my advice to yourselves is, if you've got one with them, because I know a few have commented and they've been waiting, you just need to start hassling them, because I think it's garbage. 13, 14 weeks is just absolutely poor. That's putting it politely, saying it's poor. It's far worse words than that needed, but it's not great. I do love the trains, don't get me wrong. I think they make some good products, but if stuff goes wrong, it needs to be sorted. You can't put lifetime warranty on stuff if then it's that bad of a service. It's just off-putting. I mean, if it had not got sorted, I would have certainly scrapped all my pre-orders and I'd have done without. I'll cut my own nose off to spite my face if I need to. If I think I'm badly done to, I really will, and I'll stick with what I know and what hasn't caused me any grief. But luckily this has been sorted now, so let's hope it lasts a bit. Anyway, what did you think to the steam train running round? I hope I've not waffled on too much. I kind of got on a bit of a tangent then. I actually have cut half the audio off because I were well into the 3D printing area. Basically, he's just parking up now. He parked up like an idiot, but then he didn't even back all to wagons in out at way, so I've had to make him restart it and pull them round. So I hope you noticed that little bit of information. Right, folks, that's end at running session. So now if I don't see you anymore, if you don't stay with me, I'll see you next time. Thanks very much. Thumbs up if you liked it. If you didn't like it, give it a thumbs down. If you're in between, you have to thumbs it up because they're in between thumb. Cheers, folks. Right, this next bit, someone asked me about showing 3D printing business. So what I've done is this. I go on a website called Tinkercad, and you can basically design your own stuff, and it's as simple or as complex as you want. And when I first started on it, I was rubbish, but basically, just to show you what kind of stuff I'm working on at the minute, I've got this bit of a, in fact, I've cut that off, so I'm talking waffle. This is the TTA that I've been working on, and as you saw it building it up then, it were about 1 billion pieces, and I keep adding to it. When I find bits and bobs that have worked and what, I'll add a bit more. This little piece of detail here at this bottom one, this is one of the final versions where I added that, because I noticed on the bachmann one it had that, but the crappy Hornby one, my really old 80s Hornby one, didn't have one of them. I don't think it did anyway. All my eyes were painted on and it didn't look properly. And I've basically put some walkway detail. I've put these little tiny step things here which aren't on any of them, but I thought, what's my man going to do? He ain't going to be able to walk up that because he's got a bad knee, so I put him some steps on. And basically, I just wanted to see what I could do as a bit of a personal challenge to myself. So I made this detail on top, put some bits and pieces. Not all it is, it's literally cylinders that you make different bits, and rectangles and boxes and triangles. And all you do is just put them together. And I know that hoopy thing there just looks like garbage, but when it's zoomed out, it's a tiny little piece, that. So in reality, it does look quite decent. Once you've done it, you just click export it, and you click as an STL, and then it'll export the file to what the 3D printer software knows, which is this one. So now you'll see, it probably looked a little bit garbage on there, but now you'll see it's looking all shiny and nice. And when you zoom in, the details on it are absolutely superb. So you can see all detail on walkway, and you can basically just have a look around it and see what's what. At the minute, this is now a solid piece of resin, so it'd probably cost, I don't even know, a £5 or so to print that because of the weight of it, and it'd weigh a ton. But what you can do is you basically make it hollow by just clicking a button and it does it for you. And then what else I like to do is punch a couple of holes in the bottom, which again, it's just a button click. And then it lets you can then put some isopropyl alcohol inside it and wash it out from inside. Because what I've discovered with resin is any resin that don't cure, if you don't get it out at model, it's like a chemical reaction and it just starts going all melty and horrible. So basically I do that, and I'll probably just speed video up now just to so it's not too boring. So this is me just punching them holes in it. I've just made it hollow, so now I'm punching some holes underneath it. You could go wherever you want with them. And then basically, once I've done that, all you need to do is support it, because it's resin, so it needs to be lifted off at plate and supported, because it like prints kind of in mid-air, so to speak. And then basically that plate, you just move stuff onto that plate what you want, and you can you just print it off. And as you can see from this little zoomy bit, look, you can now see inside it, including roof, look. So it's hollowed it out all right, and it's done all that effortless from that Tinkercad file, which were a solid object. And this is all done with 3D printer software now, which is quite straightforward to use. Last thing to do now is just rotate it, because stuff prints better at an angle, just because it's done in layers, and it's I think 45 degrees is a more stronger solid shape than if you do it flat. What I've found, doing it flat does it quicker, but you don't get the quality and you can get some quite bad distortion. So I've tried it and I've found what's best, and that's just what I go with. And then it'll automatically put supports on. Sometimes it does absolute monstrosities, but it's all to just hold the pieces in place while it's printing so that they don't fail. And all that blue is basically waste product, but it's only pennies worth, so it's not really worth getting out of bed about. The only thing I find sometimes, if you do them, you've got light, medium or heavy, and if you go too heavy, then when you go to take it off, you can damage it, but I generally don't know. I've got to grips with it. It's just a bit of trial and error. Just to save some time, what I'll do is I'll load some more pieces that I want onto the build plate, because you can fill the plate and just print all sorts at once. So I'll delete the tanker wagon that's at the bottom, because that's the version previous, and I'll just put the base on. I've spent absolutely hours doing this, designing it, and every time I print one off, I think, oh, that could be better, this could be adjusted, that could be adjusted. So I've got quite a few prototypes. And one of the things, this ladder, originally, ladder were really detailed, but when it printed out, it were almost like a human hair thickness. It were flexible, it weren't brittle, but it just didn't look right, and it was struggling to print. So I've now designed another ladder that's a bit more solid. I've dropped it from 8 foot in air, and it's fine, and I think you could throw it at a wall and it'd be fine. And basically that, because there's a separate part. Originally the top walkway I did as a separate part, but I found that it was just so griefy. I ended up fitting it as part of model, so that's all attached. So all I'm doing here is I'm just dragging stuff onto the build plate. The red bits are showing you that it's not fitting, so anywhere where there's red you need to get rid of it, and basically put it all in, and once it's all in and you're happy, then you just click slice. And what slicing does is it then slices the image into loads and loads of separate lines that are a specified thickness. But prior to doing that, I just like to check round everywhere to make sure that there's no overhang, because the last thing you want is failed prints, because failed prints generally cause more than just a bit of an headache. They cock stuff up. I've had print film damaged and stuff, and you don't need that. I don't mind that them bottom plates of these two are touching, because that just means when I take it off at plate, it'll come off in one piece, so that don't matter. But that looks quite good, and it looks pretty much ready to go. That ladder's not in way there, look on bottom, so that's fine. So now we're going to hit slice, then I'll show you what it looks like. So it's now sliced it, and this is showing you every single layer. You can drag the mouse up the side of the screen and it'll go through all layers, but basically this is what it looks like as a sliced file. And this is what your 3D printer reads, so it just looks absolutely crackers. And if you look close, you could probably see my reflection then, but I didn't have any pants on, so don't look too hard. I'm only kidding, folks, I did have pants on. This is my print area, and that's where I spilt a load of resin the other week, and look how it's ate through 100 mil of polystyrene. It just eats through stuff, it's horrible stuff. I try and treat it with respect, but I'm quite slack, so I try to be best I can. Anyway, that's 3D printer, that's resin, that's a screen on it. I've shoved USB that I've saved the file on, that goes into the side to doofus, and you literally just then choose the file which is on the screen. It's a touch screen, so you choose the file, then you press print. My sausage fingers struggle with this screen. It's a bit sensitive, as you can see. I'm bashing it like a madman, and now it's started printing. Cover it over, and then this is all with garage door down, and this is artificial light because UV light would start curing that resin, so it's all about keeping it dark. It's crazy. So basically that's going to take about 3 hours. 3 hours later, look, it's printed, and there it is. Look, prints upside down, and it's basically exactly as you saw it on computer screen. And then I'll just show you what you do now, and it's this is how you do it. First of all, you get a vat full of isopropyl alcohol, which it's not cheap, is it? It's about 16 quid, but it lasts a month or so. I've been caning it, so I'm on to my second bottle now. Take it away from that so I don't spill any alcohol anywhere, because that's when I start making mistakes. And then next part is you just get a bit of a swill about in this alcohol to clean uncured resin off, because there'll be like a layer of uncured resin on it, and it's horrible stuff. And then what I do is I take it off this build plate. You've got like a it's almost like a wallpaper scraper, and basically you just go in it. You've got to be careful. There's a technique to this, because it don't come off when you first start doing this. That you get one of these and you think, my God, I can't get this print off. And I spent first print, I basically put about 55 gouges in build plate. But then from then on, I've never done any since, because you kind of learn from your mistakes. And the reason that didn't come off then is, you remember I said I'd connected one to other, and I'd forgot I'd done that. So I'm just spin plate round, take it off, and as you can see there, look, that's them two pieces. I'm going to drop them back into alcohol because they're still covered in resin. And then I'll just get that little ladder off, and then it's a clean up job on that plate. Fit that back into the printer, and you can crack printing again. And then yeah, let's have a look what's next. You get your print, it's freshly washed, it's still not fully cured, so it's quite soft. So these supports, look, you can just pick them off. What you've got to watch with this is you don't start picking them, because bits go everywhere. Little bits of plastic resin, I say plastic is resin, little bits of resin fly off. You don't want them in your eyeballs, so you should wear glasses. I don't. And really, you should have a mask on, and I don't. And what I find is sometimes it's splashing me in the face, and then it's contaminating my face with my beard, and then I get it in my mouth, and it's horrible stuff. So you really need to wear a mask. As you're about to see, I've done that much printing this last few days. I've had a constant awful taste in my mouth, and it's absolutely terrible. I shouldn't even be telling you, because I shouldn't even have been in that position. But as you can see, this, because I'm doing it, I used to leave these to go fully cured and then take the supports off, but that is absolutely easy. Most people, you'll see, they get little snips and they snip each one. I just rag them off, look, and it's not damaged model at all. And that's took about, I don't know, 30 seconds. Whereas it'd take, snipping every one of them would take forever. Then I get another washing alcohol, because there's some more. After it's dry, I then put it on this UV curing machine, or you can just put it outside in sunlight. But basically this does it quicker, and it just spins round and all sorts. So you just basically turn it on like that, turn timer up, press button, then it starts spinning and curing. However, because this is like Blue Peter, this one's already cured because it's a different one, so I'm not going to do this for much longer. It was just for demonstration purposes, so as you can see I stopped it. But it was nice that it was a bit like Blue Peter, wasn't it? Because it brings back a bit of nostalgia. At this point you can remove your models, and they are cured now. They'll look a bit patchy in places with colour and stuff, but it's no to worry about that. Absolutely, it's silky smooth, that one. My first couple of batches, they weren't very smooth, and then I figured software out a little bit better, and it come better, and I've got better and better as time's gone on, so that's quite a good design, that. And then what you'll do, I'm just comparing it here next to this Hornby one, and dimensionally it's almost identical. It would be identical, but I've just changed it slightly, so I think it might be a couple of millimetres different, if that. But like I say, it's just something for my layout. I'm not knocking these out at retail. It's just a cheap way of getting a wagon, and a rake of wagons even. So that's my ladder look. As you can see, cylinder's beautifully smooth. There's no straight lines on it. I've got my little dimpled walkway there so people don't slip on it. And then basically that tank thing with doofus bit on, look, that I added in, it looks quite decent. Once you paint these up, I'll show you at end, they look quite good. And this is result, and this is what I've been doing, and this is how many I've got, so get ready. I've gone with mixed colours. I've not got any transfers on some of them yet. There's basically 3 Hornby in here, so all these others are printed. And you might think it's a lot of hassle that for printing, why would you bother? Well, reason you'd bother is this entire rake's probably cost me 30 quid. And I find that absolutely bargain price. And I don't think they look bad at all. And it means I can practice my weathering on some of them because I've gone with some right techniques, which I'll show on another video. This was just a quick one. If anyone's still watching, I hope you liked it. I hope you found it interesting. Give us a thumbs up if you want. Have a chat with us in comments. See you later. Cheers.